welcome back to the Ultimate Masterclass titled 0 to 10 million in 30 days. In today's module, we're going to be focusing on tracking our business metrics. This is module 5 and we're down to serious business because one of the critical components when it comes to building a successful business is tracking your metrics. You need to understand every part of your business. Where is your money coming from? How is your money going out of the door? All of those things matter. And when it comes to my business, I do not play with this metrics because this metrics actually guide me to ensuring that on average, at a minimum on a monthly basis, I am eating my target of 10 million naira or more. And so I'll be sharing those same metrics with you so that you're able to, pick some of those to apply in your business. Now, the very first metric that is on top of my list is my revenue metrics. Every day, I'm checking my daily sales. How much money have we brought in today? How much money did we bring in yesterday? Based on the amount that we brought in, how close are we to meeting our goal at the end of the week or at the end of the month? Are we slacking? Are we on track? Are we behind? Are we even actually ahead? There are months where, even from week 1, we were ahead. There were some months that week 1, we were behind and we're like, oh my goodness, what do we need to do? But it's important that we know the state of our business because that forces you to go do something about it. If you're behind, you have the time to figure out, okay, what can I do? If you're on track, then all well and good, whatever it is I'm doing is working. It's important. Many small business owners do not track. And so at the end of the month, they're wondering, why didn't I make that sale? If you were tracking, you would have noticed that you are either behind or you were on track. So it's important that every day you're tracking your daily revenue. How much did you make at the end of this day? Does it map and count towards the final goal? Am I on track based on what I made? Right? It's very important. Also, another metric that I track is the average revenue per customer. So now, besides having to track how much we made in total for the day, I want to know how much did each customer bring into my business, because that actually helps a lot when it comes to my marketing. So I'm able to, determine how much I can spend, because if I spend this much, I know that one customer is going to bring me a minimum of this specific amount. So you have to look at your business. You have to look at your product and your services. What is the minimum cost of that service or that business? That will tell you the average, that a customer brings in. Now, it's possible for a customer to come in and spend above that average, but you have to know what that minimum is. So you're able to guide and know how many customers you need to sell to on a daily basis, maybe to bring in that required amount that'll help you stay on track when it comes to achieving your goals. So tracking your revenue is super important. You have to track them every day and you have to track the average amount that each customer brings so you're able to better plan for the future. Another metric that we track is our utilization rate, because for one of my businesses, we are an appointment-based business. And so we look at the available appointments in a day. Out of the available appointments, how many of them got booked? It's important because that way we're able to know this is the potential of money that we could make in a day, and this is where we are. So let's say, for example, we're open to 10 appointments in a day. And let's say the average or the minimum cost for each appointment is 100,000. That means I have the possibility to make 1 million on a daily basis. Now, if I only close out maybe 3 appointments, or maybe only 3 appointments are booked out that day, that means on that day I made 300,000, which means I have 700,000 that was open and unfilled. So that tells me, okay, what can I do differently? How do I fill up all of the slots so that I'm able to maximize my day and reach the maximum, which is 1 million on a daily basis? So we look at our utilization rate. Now, for your business, things might be slightly different, where maybe it's a different metric you have to use to be able to look at how you utilize your product and your services. But you have to always track, like, what is the maximum amount that is possible for me to make on a daily basis? Am I making that amount? Why am I not making that amount? What can I do differently? How can I rack up and make the maximum possible amount that I can make on a daily basis? Now, if you sell items, maybe you sell products, what is the highest amount you've made in a day? You could use that as your target for your average utilization rate, where let's say you have sold, let's say 20 products in a day. You can set a target that, hey, if I sell 20 products in a day, that is maximum. If I sell 10, that's about average. If I sell 5, that's below average. And that can guide you towards, how well your products are moving on a day-to-day basis. Okay. Now, another metric that I track is my customer metrics. I want to track, my new customers versus my returning customers. How many new customers do I get on a day-to-day basis? How many new customers do I get on a weekly basis? How many of the customers that have patronized us before are returning? It's possible because you don't want to lose out on your returning customers, because getting a new customer is actually much harder than a returning customer. And a returning customer is so helpful to your business because, first of all, you're able to get referrals from those customers. They're able to give you a review. If they don't come back, you have to figure out, why are they not coming back? Is there something that you're doing wrong? Is there something wrong with your product? Is there something wrong with my service? Is there something I can do differently? Did I satisfy that customer at the end of the day? Because if my product is a product that maybe will be needed from time to time, and you feel like the time for renewal should have come through, why didn't they come back to me? Why did they go to someone else? It's very important. So even though we're getting new customers on a day-to-day basis, I still want to make sure that I'm keeping track on my returning customers, and I'm keeping in touch with them to understand why they're not patronizing me. And if I have the type of business that should allow for returning customers, then you should really be, attentive to that metric, because you want to know why they are not coming back, and you want to make sure that you fix that so you're able to keep your returning customers and then grow your market share by getting new customers. So it's important that you are tracking your customer metric. Now, under customer metrics, another key metric that you need to be tracking is your customer acquisition cost, right? How much does it cost for me to get each customer? Because these customers just don't find us by random. There are probably several things that we've done, whether we've run ads, we created content, all kinds of effort actually goes into getting a customer. So you want to be able to figure out, how much does it cost for me to bring in each customer? And how much does that customer give me in return? And remember, I said earlier that I track the average revenue per customer because I want to know how much they cost me, and in return, how much do they give me? If I'm spending, let's say, 100,000 to get a customer, and a customer is spending 100,000 on my product, then I'm not making money, or I'm not going to make money, because I can already tell that my expenses is going to be high, right? So it's important that we understand those numbers so that we're able to fix the number. Either maybe I'm priced too low and I have to do something about my pricing, or my marketing cost is just extremely high and I need to go fix it. But it's important that I know those numbers so I know exactly what to do per time. Now, another important metric that you've got to track is your operational metrics. Even though we want sales on a day-to-day basis, it's very important that we're tracking the cost of our operations, right? Now, for many of us, for us to service either a business or sell that product, there's so many costs we have to consider. Either you have a place of business, you've got staff, you have to repair things on a day-to-day basis. All of those things are important. Now, for my own business, the customers have to come to a particular place to come get service, which means that there is a property they come to, there is a cost associated with that property, there is staff to service this guest, there are repair costs, there's utilization costs, there's running costs. All of these things are important. And as a small business, you have to consider each of these costs in your business, because you might be making so much money, right? Where people are buying a lot from you. And then that money can be going right out of the door because you're spending so much on your operations. Now, imagine, let's say in a month, you make 10 million, right? So you made your goal, right? But now when you're doing your accounting, you realize that you actually spent 11.5 on expenses. At the end of the day, even if you met your 10 million naira goal, you still made a loss because your expenses were outrageous and they were lots for the kind of business that you are running. So it's very important that we keep tab on our operational costs, right? It's very important. So keep tab on it. Make sure you're tracking it. How much am I spending on a day-to-day basis? Is that a regular cost? Because if it's regular, then that should have been calculated when I was coming up with my price, for my items, for my product or my service. Now, if these are random costs that are just coming up due to something, then you have to quickly track it, right? For example, let's assume that Every time things are getting spoiled in your business, things are getting bad and you have to keep repairing. Those are unplanned costs where your repair cost is just climbing and climbing. And before you know it, that could steal right into your profit. So it's very important that you keep track on it and you know exactly where your money is going to, and make sure you do something about it so that you can keep that cost low. Now, another important cost that you definitely have to keep a track on is marketing, right? So that's a metric you want to have. What's the cost of conversion? So for every ads that I'm running, what's my conversion rate? How many people found me through those ads? If you're doing influencer marketing, how many customers did that bring into your business? All your streams of marketing, you have to track them. Is it making sense? Is it worth it? Am I spending the right amount of money? Is that a good ROI in this service or in the way I'm, marketing myself as a business, as a brand? All of those things are important because marketing is one cost that is so hard for us to be able to, fathom, right? So many things goes into marketing. Sometimes you might run ads for a period of time and get one customer, right? It's stressful, it's painful, and that's why a lot of small businesses don't even like to give a budget for their ads, but you have to market, right? But that's one of the reasons why they don't want to pay so much attention, because they can't justify why they'll spend so much money on marketing and get very return investment in that area. But that's also because you are not tracking, because if you're tracking, then you're able to know what is working and double down on what's working. And if something is not working, then you can always quit that and then go do something else. And that's why it's important that you have to track. This is so critical to your business success. You don't want to do all of the work, spend all of that money building the right product, building the right service, doing all you can, and then you're not tracking the cost of actually acquiring that customer. It is very important and it's critical to the success of your business. So make sure that you're tracking, your marketing and what that is costing you as a business. Now, another important metric you've got to track is customer satisfaction. It is very important that you are aware of how your customer feels about you. You can always do that through feedback and review. For example, after every appointment, we always ask our customers, how was the service? Rate us on a scale of 1 to 10. How do you feel about us? What made us exceptional? What made us horrible? And I can tell you for a fact that feedback has been instrumental to our growth, because even when we get bad feedbacks, guess what? We do something about it. It's an opportunity for us to grow. Just recently, we had a customer who gave us a feedback about the time it took between when the client arrived at the location and when that client was ushered into the inner room where they needed to get ready for their appointment. And that was a very important feedback because that made us realize we were wasting a bit of time in that process. And that was sometimes frustrating to clients because, when clients come somewhere, they want to get service almost immediately. They don't want any level of discomfort. And so when you're keeping them waiting without any genuine reason, it's frustrating to them. They are also busy. They have places to go. They have things to do. So having that kind of feedback help us figure out okay, what's wrong with our process? Where's the bottleneck? What can we do about it? And we're able to do something about it. So it's very important that you are asking for feedback. Don't be worried. Even if it's bad feedback, you can do something about it and it will make you better and it will help you serve the next customer even better. And review is also something that helps you. What's the number of bad reviews you get on a daily basis? What's the number of bad reviews you get on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis? There was a time, and we're still doing it, right? We track the number of happy customers that we have. How many happy customers did we get today? How many happy customers did we get in a week? How many happy customers did we get in a month? And the goal is for us to have 0, right? Like 0 unhappy customers. We want to make sure that everyone that comes through our door leaves that place happy. They are satisfied so that they can recommend us, so that they can come back again. That is why we're tracking that metric, because at the end of the day, if they're satisfied and if they can come back again, they will refer us and they will come back and spend more money on our business. So it's very important that you are tracking customer satisfaction. Now, finally, you want to track your net margins, right? Because it's one thing for you to bring in all of that money, but are you keeping it? That's the question, right? If you're bringing in 10 million as a minimum on a monthly basis, how much of that 10 million are you keeping? That is the question you need to ask yourself as a small business owner. You've got to be keeping a good chunk of that money. And the only reason why you would keep a good chunk of that money is when you're tracking all of these things. You're tracking operations, right? You want to make sure that your operation is not costing you so much so that you can keep more of it. You want to make sure that your marketing is being effective so that your ROI is bringing you more business. You want to make sure that you're satisfying your customers so that they can refer you, they can give you good reviews, which means that you don't have to spend so much on marketing because you also have another avenue that is marketing for you. These things are important. You want to track operations. It is crucial to your business. And obviously, all of these things affect your bottom line. So at the end of the day, it's very important that we're also tracking our net profit margin, right? How much did we get to keep this month? Where are the loopholes? What can we do differently to help us keep more of our money next month? That's why tracking is so important, because at the end of the day, after all of the work, you want to be able to enjoy the effort of your labor. So I hope that all of these metrics that I've shared today, kickstart your journey towards tracking your business metrics so you're able to grow and expand your business and keep more of your money at the end of every month. Thank you so much for spending another time in today's module, and I'll see you in module 6. Hope you guys had a great time. I wish you all of the best. It is possible and it is doable, and I hope that you are able to achieve your business goals. I'll see you in the next module. Bye.